Welcome to the FPL USA Press Play Podcast, and a most happy Thanksgiving to all of our US listeners. We wish you a happy holidays wherever you are tuning in from around the world. I'm Bucks, joined by my co-host and friend and partner in crime, Brian Chin. Ladies and gentlemen, Chinny, say hi.
Ahoy. Perfect Thanksgiving here at the in-laws. That was the end of my weekend because the triple captain fail of Erling Haaland is just summing up my fantastic season. So I'm a bit down in the dumps right now, Bucks, but you'll pick us up. You smashed it on free hit, so looking forward to hearing more about your conquests.
Yeah, the swings on this podcast can be, pretty intense. Brian had the best ever season for a content creator out of the US of A. And now you're all the way, in like the 4 million dregs. So life comes at you fast, doesn't it?
Since I put the triple captain on, haven't opened yet.
Too much pain. Yeah, I hear you. All right, this is going to be a quick one. Again, word to the wise, there is the first midweek game week in 14. It will kick off on Tuesday afternoon here in the States, Tuesday morning if you find yourself on the West Coast. So without further ado, let's just quickly break down how game week 13 treated us. We all used chips. Black Wolf and you were both on triple captain. You used it on Haaland. Womp womp. Big captaincy fail there. I, on the other hand, was on free hit. I used that to great success. So we're all on green arrows, surprisingly. But I think, let's start with me, notably 61 points all out. I beat the average by almost 30 full points. So really excited about that. And, out of the first half chips, I'm now 3 for 3. All of them have gone really my way, which I'm thrilled to say. Honestly, it could have been bigger. I don't want to get greedy, but, Mo Salah being benched and not featuring. And then my differential was Ollie Watkins, who also was benched. So I had about, 23 million of my 100 million free hit just not really deliver at all. But my differentials, Foden, Thiago, and Dango, they were flying for me. So I was thrilled about that.
Yeah, the Foden and Dango picks, huge. Coming in at the last minute of both of those matches, really, to get you a huge green arrow.
Yeah, it was like, you got like a full plate, and then it came in with some really yummy leftover sandwiches, which is a good American-only reference here as we pack on the pounds around this time of the year.
Taking a look at your squad, maybe a little bit of a lesson for your next free hit to actually have one decent playing bench player, because you got an auto sub of Mukiele in for 0. Which is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, well, it could have been way worse. The way that game was going, I thought it was going to be like 4-0, but they stormed all the way back to make it a contest. But yeah, this was a good lesson. And, my initial free hit draft that I sent you actually scored, I think, 80 points, which had triple Villa defense. So, and no Ollie Watkins. But it was either going to be Watkins or Bowen. I was never going to be a Mateta guy as I kind of looked to switch it up from my OG team. But yeah, it will be a breath of really cool and crisp air, like walking into a retail shop in the middle of the summer when you switch back to see your team and your regular team lining up for game week 14.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go through your squad, Brian.
What do you make of the Salah benching in this one? So to be on the bench but not even feature, so full rest for the man.
Tactical mixed with just age profile. There's so many matches, especially for these teams playing in Europe. Like Chelsea, they're going to play 5 games in the course of 13 days, which is just insane. So it was always going to be rotation. I thought more likely it was going to be in this coming match in the midweek, but Slot stuck it in me in that one for sure.
Well, I think the free hit, I would say, overwhelming success for you, and you're into the top 1 million now. So that's a good place to be at this point in the season. And then do you have one more chip left?
Yes, I will be using my triple captain chip once AFCON gets going.
Perfect. All right. Moving my team quickly, I had 37 points. So that is 3 straight weeks where I've not cracked 40, which has basically put the season in the bin with all the turkey bones and everything else after I've made my nice stock from the turkey carcass. And the season's over for me. I'm just going to be start to take some hits and just have some fun with it. But this is me officially checked out of this FPL season. So I feel like
no,
Dan
come on. You're
last
still
year.
going to make. You're not going to miss any deadlines. I know.
Well,
Our level of checked out.
But I'm definitely like I'm definitely gonna be like Black Wolf last year, where it's just like, yep, not going my way. I'm gonna use Headspace for something else and just make my 2 moves Friday night before the deadline and go from there. But looking at our manager of the game week, somebody who should not give up on their season, let's shout out Ricardo Andrade, his squad. B-Buns reloaded, 86 points, Bucks. Run the listeners through this team quickly. Huge win.
Yeah, this was like a work of art. The looters were trying to steal this from the Louvre, but this one was actually under good lock and key. So this one features Foden, Bruno, and Dango in midfield. So 3 double-digit hauls there. Also gets contributions from Thiago up top. So that's 4 double-digit hauls. Not to mention a triple Aston Villa defense. So 86 points. Bravo to you, Ricardo. Just, a supersized chip usage. So just well done, Ricardo, on a weird chip-filled week. You smashed it. Congratulations.
Nice one. All right, Bucks. We have matches tomorrow, Tuesday, so we got to get this episode up quickly. What are our thoughts? Who are the players that we need to be concerned about heading into the Game Week 14 deadline? Because there's been some injuries to various players across London specifically. So, keen on your thoughts as you revert back to your normal side for Game Week 14.
Yeah, so we know a couple things for certain. So Caicedo, he had a red card. He will be suspended for Game Week 14. That likely means that, we'll be seeing Andre Santos, but Caicedo is a very popular and very high-performing FPL asset so far this season. He's gone. Ismail Assar from Crystal Palace picked up an ankle injury. He had to be subbed off before the halftime whistle, could not continue. Of course, with less than 72 hours of rest between game weeks, he's also most likely definitively ruled out. So,
he's red,
and then we had
on crutches. So
you don't want to leave the stadium on crutches and then be expected to be putting in a 90-minute shift, 3 days later. We're not doctors, but we did stay at a Holiday Inn once. And then last but not least, Senesi, the very popularly owned DEFCON monster for Bournemouth. He's also going to be out for 5 yellow card accumulations. Now, I think this is worth noting because Everton, who they play next, are actually a team that concede huge points to center backs. They just did for Malik Diaw from Newcastle. They've had a number of double-digit center back returns thus far this season. So Senesi was really, a great gem of a pick going into this one. He's now going to miss out. So some players and some managers will have, all 3 of these guys and probably 1, if not 2 free transfers, having to solve the riddle going into a week where we're expecting heavy rotation. It's a real bummer.
And I think we also have to mention Saliba picks up an injury in training before the Chelsea fixture, which was a big miss for Arsenal. And great to see the Blues pick up a draw there after going down to 10 men. But Saliba is somebody who a lot of managers who had Gabriel just went sideways and grabbed the other center back for the expected minutes. Now, we haven't heard too much more on Saliba.
Yeah, but, a little bit of a mystery there.
For a few weeks, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's uncertain. It could be as early as game week 15, though, that he's back. I saw tease. So that's one where I think is more of a hold. But just in general, to your point, right, the entire Arsenal defense are significantly weakened without their first choice center back pairing. And we saw that against Chelsea. Not only did they fail to get an attacking return from a set piece, but they conceded from a set piece. That was very un-Arteta-like from Arsenal. So just a word of caution if you are on a triple or even a double Arsenal defense strategy. All right, the fixtures. Let's flip the page forward. Again, we don't have to go far to fast forward into the future where we will have footy back in our lives as early as Tuesday, December 2nd. So there are a couple noteworthy matches we want to highlight for FPL Hall potentials. I think that starts mostly in London with teams visiting other teams. So we have Palace at Burnley and Chelsea at Leeds. I think a lot more certainty is with that Palace lineup. Outside of Sarr, pretty much know who their starting 11 is going to be week in and week out. So you got to start those guys. Potentially a great differential captaincy option for Mateta, who got his goal in the last game from the penalty kick spot. I think Palace are a team that, could be targeted for transfers in this week. You like that call, Brian?
Yeah, Mateta's a great shout. Obviously, we've seen Wolves and Burnley truly be the worst teams. Burnley at home, a little bit stickier, I guess, than they are on the road, but that's not saying much. So you could definitely go there. It pays to be on pens, right? We're seeing Mateta. We're seeing the likes of our guy Thiago being on pens at Brentford, just racking up all these extra goals. So those are also good picks, I think, for the next couple matches. Then you have Manchester United at home versus West Ham. You expect them to put in a decent shift in front of their home crowd there as well. And then Man United assets have Wolves away the week after. So you're going to see some popular transfers in if people aren't on Bumo or Bruno yet.
Yeah, and also that United fixture happens to be the last one of the game week falling on Thursday. So they will have more rest than most, which of course is important. But then they'll have less rest when they get to play the Pups of Wolverhampton. So you win some, you lose some. It's good to have those cupcake back-to-back fixtures in the congested period. So when we look at the best matches in real life, Arsenal right now, from the analytics perspective, when we look at the bookies, they're the most favored for a clean sheet because they're home facing Brentford. And I actually think this is a schedule quirk and a pretty interesting one. Arsenal, this will be their third straight London derby. And it really all hinges. I think if Thiago is fit, I don't think they're keeping a clean sheet. So I tend to side against the bookies in this one. The guys just keep scoring goals. So if he's fit, I expect Brentford will get at least one. And I think this could actually be a much tighter match. And last but not least, we got to call out the Sunderland traveling to Anfield fixture. I mean, if you are a Sunderland fan, you're already having a dream season. This could be a miracle of an away day kind of situation. Liverpool, of course, are not the squad we expected coming into the season. And so if I told you that, a top 4 contender was playing against a relegation caliber squad, you wouldn't be thinking that the top 4 was the visitors and not the hosts. That's for sure. Could have won a nice plus 100,000 kind of bet there, right, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I really wish I had Gakpo instead of Salah on my team. Instead, I had one free transfer and a lot of problems. So the experiment for me of going both Salah and Haaland in game week 6 on wild card, because I was going to go see Salah in person, has gone terribly. So I would say that it's interesting to see the defense pick up a little bit as well. I feel like Kanate is still having his problems, but Van Dijk's yelling and barking orders, trying to get those guys organized. So they have kept a couple clean sheets in the last 3 or 4 matches. Sunderland, I think, do score in this one, but I would expect kind of a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. Just like you said, dream season for Sunderland to start this off before all their players go to AFCON, and they might have some tough results coming up, but they are truly one of the best promoted teams in a long time to start the season. So we'd love to see the bottom of the table get a big shakeup.
Yeah, amen. Great call out. And I think worth mentioning, Virgil van Dijk, he could be in line for that first attacking return. We've been waiting a long time to see him get one of those bullet headers into the back of the net. Why not have the captain deliver as on the road, at home to the delight of the Anfield faithful in this midweek? I wouldn't hate that in my team.
Transition quickly. Yeah, let's transition quickly to talk about City playing at Fulham. So tell us what you saw. Obviously, Erling Haaland gets very few opportunities at all. I watched the first half, and then I decided to go for a walk with my dog and my baby instead of watch the second half because I just did not have a good feeling about that triple captaincy. It just turned it off. I couldn't deal with it. So between him and then Foden rising a little bit in terms of their profile and shots in the box, etc., do you think Foden is one of the priority transfers in for this run where they're going to play Fulham, Sunderland, Crystal Palace, West Ham, NFO?
I think he's a good shout. I think if you have Saka in place, I'd probably keep Saka. And if I had Bruno, those guys are probably the most natural straight swaps. to Foden. I think I would keep both the guys in red as opposed to going for Phil. Having said that, if you have a Mo Salah size problem in your team, I would definitely be seriously eyeing up one Phil Foden to be kind of the savior. Like you mentioned, the fixtures are excellent, and he's really hitting his purple patch. And you just saw it. He was the most electric player for Man City. When they needed a goal, he got one to start the match, and he got one to finish out the match. He was everywhere. And in a game where Haaland really struggled to get even an inch of space, it was because Foden was kind of the one picking up the ball in the half space to be kind of clinical there. So I really liked what I saw there. And, he's a player that's very much on my watch list. But also, we might have to start thinking about Cole Palmer and fitting him in. And he's now been fit to be on the bench. We haven't seen him get minutes yet. I expect that will change in the midweek for Chelsea. And again, if he's fit and he's going to be starting kind of in that 10 role or even on the right wing for Chelsea, a team that is generating tons of attacking chances, he's almost going to become an essential FPL pick very soon. So I think having an eye on planning transfers. You don't like that. You think I'm ahead of my skis there.
Yeah, just based on like the management of this injury and the pile up of the fixtures. I just want to see him play with 3 straight matches in a row, and I don't see that coming up anytime soon. I feel like they're going to play in 60s, right? So it's one to watch. I don't think he's going to be a priority at any point in time because the people that did go for him after he quote unquote returned from his groin injury were easily and burned quickly. So somebody that's on the watch list, but I do not expect him to become a full time 90-minute man like he has been in his Chelsea career for quite some time at this point.
Yeah, good point.
Chelsea
and Phil Foden, Phil Foden, to your point, has been he's nailed. He's getting regular starts. He's getting the full 90. He seems like he's back in the big house. He's not in the doghouse anymore with Pep.
I mean, he's had a ton of opportunities to score points. He kind of dodged points for like a month. He had a lot of decent.
I had him most of those point dodging weeks. So, he was in my team.
At least he didn't hold that against him and still went for him on free hit. But how would you rank like Foden and Gakpo, for example, if somebody wants a piece of Liverpool attack rather than doubling up on the attack for City?
Well, this week I'd rather have Gakpo. I think he's aided by the fact that he's just the only in-form Liverpool attacker. So he's almost picking himself out on the left wing right now. Foden has more competition, and we know Pep will fuck around, and us managers will find out with the odd benching. And it could come as early as game week 14. Who knows? That being said, I think those are both great picks, and you probably, if you had your wild card, you'd probably pick both of them.
Yeah,
all right,
don't hate that.
Let's skip ahead. We got to get out of here. Brian has work and he has editing responsibilities. And I have my kid's nap, which I'm hearing is ending in haste in the background right now. Jordan, pipe down. I got my transfer plans and captaincy shouts.
All right, Bucks, what do you got for us? What's the plan here?
All right, I have 2 free transfers. I'm definitely using one of them. Right now, it is an absolute toss-up. I am considering going for either Ndiaye. He has Bournemouth away. Listen, I just think that the Everton fixtures, they're getting a little tough. And yes, he has penalties, but there are guys around his price point that are doing points right now. And I like points right now, not points 3 game weeks from now.
I mean, not to mention, Bucks, they got their absolute shit kicked in this match. We're hosting the 2-0
Newcastle.
Newcastle. Yeah. Crazy. 4-1 home loss. That is rough. So
all my focus for transfer moves this week is actually surrounding 2 teams. So I'm glad you brought up one of them in Newcastle. Newcastle play Tottenham at home, and then they play, I believe they have like 2 or the next 4 fixtures for Newcastle are quite juicy. If you have those handy, maybe you shout those out for the listeners. And then the other team is Manchester United. So if I move Ndiaye, I'll probably get Barnes in from Newcastle. The other alternative would be to get Ahmad with an eye on kind of freeing up some money. And then I would probably bench Enzo. I expect Enzo will be rested against Leeds. So that will be kind of a difficult call, but a call that I'll need to make. Alternatively, if I go my other plan, which is to sell Goodmanson, he's one of my pair of 4.0 defenders, and I have 0.6 million in the bank. I was planning to move him to Lenny Yoro, who's getting minutes in Manchester United defense. Manchester United will host West Ham, and then, like you said, they play another cupcake fixture. I believe it's Wolves on the road in game week 15. I don't see why he can't get somewhere in the range of 13 to 14 points in those two matches. And Goodmanson would just be rotting away in my third bench spot otherwise. So I kind of like that move. It switches a nearly dead player into an active potential starter. So there's a little more upside, I think, for my team balance in that defender move.
It's good to me. Quick one for me. I'll be taking my first hits. I will be transferring out Mo Salah. I'll transfer him probably to Bruno, and then I'll do Sarr up to Saka or up to Gakpo or somebody else like that, maybe Foden. So double move, -4. Never think about it again, and keep it moving.
Who's going to be your captain for the midweek?
That's a good question. I have not taken a look at it, but hopefully somebody good that gets me points because it'll right in the plum. So
I think if you're bringing in Bruno should be a serious consideration. I saw a graphic on X earlier this morning that West Ham have conceded the most FPL points to central midfielders in the league. So Bruno plays that spot. He's not a normal center midfielder. He's probably the best in the game. And yeah, he just comes off the back of 2 really easy assists. So I'm eyeing up a consideration of Mbomo as my differential captain. But of course, Holland is always a great pick, and he's going to be motivated to score after everyone's slagging him off for this triple captain. Shame.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning into this quick episode of the FPL USA Press Play podcast. We appreciate you all. We'll talk to you again soon because Bucks will be back on the airwaves on Wednesday or Thursday before the deadline on Saturday. Fast and furious pile up here. We'll see you all soon. Thanks, guys.
Safe travel, season's greetings. All love.